The 1970s were a time of raw emotion, burning youth, and melodies that touched the soul. Among the legends were names that flared up only once before fading away. But even that brief light was enough to leave a lasting mark. These were the one-hit wonders' explosive moments, born from pain, rebellion, or sudden bursts of feeling. Yet they all shared one thing: capturing the spirit of the 70s in just a few fleeting minutes. Today, we revisit 12 iconic one-hit wonders of the 1970s songs that not only captured hearts, but etched themselves into the legacy of rock and roll. Let's turn back time and rediscover the names that once burned bright and now live on in the memory of a generation. Brandy, a sorrowful love ballad from a seemingly unknown band, suddenly became the voice of hearts in love, in waiting, in longing. Looking Glass? 4 young men from New Jersey never imagined that a single song would catapult them to the top of the Billboard charts. The band had once played in small bars, sending out demos that no one cared to open. But they had something genuine, a kind of raw, heartfelt music. Inspired by a true story, a barmaid who fell in love with a sailor, only to be turned away because he belonged to the sea. The song became a symbol of unfulfilled love, of those who chose purpose over passion. The song is a snapshot of life, and behind the spotlight, Looking Glass could never recreate that miracle. They disbanded. But Brandy remained a legacy, a testament to a time when just one song could etch your name into the memory of an entire generation. Hold Your Head Up burst onto the scene like a punch straight through doubt. With its explosive organ sound and message of resilience, the song quickly rose to number 5 on the Billboard charts. It carried a message to women, those being trampled on and ridiculed, saying, "Hold your head up high. Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed of being yourself." A proud call in an era when the fight for women's rights was beginning to stir beneath the surface. That's what made this song transcend music. It became the voice of its time. But the fire didn't last. The band disbanded after just a few years, while Hold Your Head Up remained standing tall like a monument, a bold and fierce declaration of 70s rock. A moment of burning intensity, a message that never grows old, and a legend written with just one song. Wild Cherry, they were rock-loving guys, playing music in small bars, waiting endlessly for a chance. They were once mocked by an audience. "Play some funky music, white boy." And in a moment of anger and hurt, frontman Rob Parisi wrote that very line down, never knowing it would spark the biggest hit of their lives. Play That Funky Music was written not as an act of rage, but as a response through music with explosive guitar riffs, thunderous bass lines, and drums that refused to let anyone stand still. The song shattered racial boundaries in music, becoming an anthem of an era where limits were beginning to fall. They didn't bask in the spotlight for long, but in that year, they were fire. An unrepeatable explosion. A track that made the world turn its head. And a legend written by a courage no one saw coming. This song has a unique past. It originated as a traditional work song passed down within the African American community in the early 20th century, and was once recorded by blues legend Lead Belly. But when guitarist Bill Bartlett of Ram Jam heard that version, he decided to resurrect it as a rock explosion. Razor-sharp guitar riffs, pounding drums, and vocals that screamed from the depths of the earth. The song was banned in several states due to lyrics considered offensive or racially insensitive. Yet critics and listeners saw something different. Black Betty was a fierce echo of a silenced history, a fusion of folk heritage and rock's rebellious spirit. Ram Jam didn't last long after that success. They disbanded. But in one fleeting moment, they left behind an unforgettable song. It stands as proof of one thing. When you tap into the deepest roots of music, you can shake an entire era. Can you believe it? A Jewish man, after watching a Southern gospel TV show, went on to write one of the most iconic songs about Jesus ever recorded. That's how Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum was born. Nothing fancy, just a fuzzed-out guitar, a sudden wave of inspiration, and one simple thought. When I die, I want to go to the place that's the best. In 1970, this song cut through the haze of heavy rock like a beam of light. Spiritual, but full of grit. A gospel anthem, played on electric guitars. It soared to number 3 on the Billboard charts and became a soundtrack of hope, not preaching, but reaching. Norman Greenbaum only had one hit. But that one hit opened a road to the sky, powered by faith, distortion, and a melody that refuses to be forgotten. An instrumental track, bold and untamed, infused with the spirit of rock, funk, and raw rebellion. Frankenstein was not a song written in any orderly fashion. It was the result of spontaneous jam sessions, with recordings cut, pasted, and shuffled like a creature pieced together from fragmented parts. But what makes Frankenstein truly great isn't its technical construction, it's the emotion. Listening to it feels like witnessing a creature rise without rules, without reason, simply because it must. Each transition is a convulsion of creativity. Each drumbeat a heartbeat pounding wildly with passion. Frankenstein stands as a declaration that music doesn't need words to convey feeling. Listeners are still gripped by its suspense, explosion, confusion, and awe, as if watching a frenzied machine spiral out of control in a laboratory. No one expected an instrumental track to reach the top of the Billboard Hot 100. Yet, Frankenstein did, becoming a symbol of courage in music, where the strange and unconventional became something truly legendary. How Long by the band Ace was born from a shock much closer to home, a quiet betrayal. The band discovered that their own bassist had been secretly moonlighting with another group. Instead of lashing out, Paul Carrick, the band's frontman, poured his disappointment into music. What came out was a sharp but quietly devastating line. How long has this been going on? The song didn't make a noisy debut, but it quickly resonated and soared to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US. Most listeners assumed it was a tortured love song, never suspecting that behind the melody lay a story of broken trust among brothers in a band. And yet, that's exactly what gave the song its strength. The groove was smooth, the voice was soulful, but beneath it all was the sting of truth. How Long wasn't just a hit, it was a catharsis, a way to say what couldn't be screamed. A surprise success, yes, but one that felt completely earned, because it came from a real wound and the dignity of an artist choosing to speak through his craft.
I love a sunny day, dream of far away.
Pilot wasn't a band in the traditional sense. They were young musicians hired to play for others, drifting on side stages where no one remembered their names. Few know that their song was written at a time when its creator stood on the edge of giving up. Tired of going unrecognized, lost between passion and reality, they wondered if they even belonged in music anymore. But then, one quiet morning, as sunlight slipped through a small window, the feeling of being alive returned. No drama, no grand moment, just a clear, still instant. And from that moment, the song was written as a quiet nod to life itself. There is still hope, as long as we don't let go. Magic wasn't just the magic of music. It was magic. A song born from the depths of doubt that rose into a beacon of belief for an entire generation.
Doing alright, doing alright.
Driver's Seat doesn't rely on dramatic flair or complex melodies. It makes its mark with a cold rhythm, steady drums, guitar strokes like small incisions, and a keyboard line that drifts like a mind trying to escape something. It's a driving song, but not to get anywhere, just to run from the emotions left behind after a breakup. What made the song a hit in the 1970s wasn't flashiness, but quiet timing. In an era bursting with energetic disco and rebellious rock, Driver's Seat offered something different, a somber, reflective note for those trying to stay composed in the chaos.
A little driving up.
It quickly spread across radio waves in both Europe and the US. Not because it was catchy in a conventional sense, but because it touched on a kind of loneliness everyone has felt. It's not a song about getting over something, it's a song for those simply trying to keep going. Bullet was never a long-standing band. In fact, they weren't even a complete band in the traditional sense when their hit song was released. There was no massive promotion. And yet, the song quietly made its way into people's hearts, like a belated confession, sweet but laced with bitterness. From the title alone, White Lies, Blue Eyes, carries a delicate contradiction. Gentle lies, hidden behind seemingly innocent blue eyes. But behind that is a story of love falling apart, not in anger, but in the silence of unspoken untruths. The song resonates with anyone who has ever loved wholeheartedly, only to realize that their trust was misplaced. It doesn't need to scream to be remembered. With a simple story about someone who loved sincerely and someone who hid behind beauty, the song carved a lasting place in listeners' hearts for decades. It wasn't written to become a legend, but it did. Its raw emotion and everyday truth gave it the power to live on, etched in the memory of a generation. What song is keeping your fire alive? Let me know in the comments below. And if this journey through rock history touched your heart, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need that spark too. Until next time, keep burning, keep living, and never stop dreaming.